The first wave of Epstein files were released today.
But I'm confused. First, y'all had them. Then y'all didn't. They were a hoax. They were a Democrat hoax.
Well, thank God Ghislaine Maxwell finally testified about Epstein's list, and you're not going to believe what she had to say.
Conveniently, Ghislaine Maxwell says in the interview that Trump is a good guy and that she doesn't remember him being anything other than a gentleman.
Prove me wrong, Donald. Tell me you did not just raid John Bolton's home for classified documents on the same day that you were supposed to be releasing Epstein files. He couldn't even help doing it like the day before or the day after. It had to be the exact day. It's so stupid. It's one trick. He's a one-trick pony, and he does the exact same thing every single time. And it's painfully obvious. Now, this is an obvious punishment to John Bolton since he was in Trump's first-term cabinet and is now criticizing Trump for various means. But also, this is exactly what Trump did in his first term. And this is where you will see the delusions of Trump supporters. Not Republicans, specifically Trump supporters, because Trump did the exact same thing at his Mar-a-Lago place. We have photos. We have the photos of him hiding these documents in his bathroom. But yet now it's a national security concern that John Bolton has various classified documents in his space, and there's going to be a major problem about it. It's not a major problem. It's being manufactured as a major problem because he doesn't want to release the Epstein files.
Well, thank God Ghislaine Maxwell finally testified about Epstein's list, and you're not going to believe what she had to say.
Do you have a list of names in your head or names that come to mind of people that you know did get massages when they were with Mr. Epstein?
No, there's no list. There's no list of people getting massages. I can barely recall all the people. I can barely recall. I struggle to recall actual people that I met. I may have met a long time, but I had even forgotten that about Mr. Kennedy, or I probably brought it up yesterday. It just came to my mind now. So I don't have, and there's no list. There was never a list. There was no, or certainly none that I ever saw, none I ever heard of, none that I ever witnessed, there's no list. There's never been a list.
And you never heard Mr. Epstein talk about such a list?
Never.
Ghislaine Maxwell's father was the head of Israeli intelligence, but she can't remember a single name. Okay. Okay, girl. Okay.
The DOJ has released their first set of Epstein files to the House Oversight Committee. But I'm confused. First, y'all had them. Then y'all didn't. They were a hoax. They were a Democrat hoax. And now magically, y'all have them again? So I'm just like, are these the unedited version? Or, But also, we may never actually see them. The public, we might not see them. Before the maggots find this post, I don't give a fuck who's on the list. Throw them in jail. Thank you.
The first wave of Epstein files were released today. And as expected, they are heavily redacted. But what Ghislaine Maxwell just pulled off, that is the real story. She testified under oath to the DOJ that she never witnessed Trump act inappropriately. Ever. She also said that about Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew. She then called the whole list a Salem witch trial. And if that term sounds familiar and just gross, especially concerning this trial, it should, because that's what Tangerine Tyrant's camp, that's the same phrase they used to defend him during Mueller. Coincidence? I highly fucking doubt it. And here's the thing. Who says we can even trust her testimony? She has already been charged with perjury before. She straight up lied under oath in civil cases. So why the fuck are we trusting her now? And then, right after this testimony, done privately of course, with Todd Blanche, Trump's lawyer, sitting right there beside her, she got moved to Club Fed, a low-security prison that allows work release privileges. Work release. For what fucking job? Her literal last gig Her last role was operating a fucking massive trafficking crime for billionaires. And let's be real. Someone that fucking evil isn't stupid. Someone that coordinated a trafficking empire. We're talking flights, logistic, money, models, drugs. That person would keep meticulous files. Why? For protection, for leverage. And if this new deal sounds familiar, it should, because it is the exact same deal that Epstein got in Florida, facilitated by none other than who? Pam Bondi, who now runs the DOJ, the same Department of Justice that just gave a sweetheart deal to Ghislaine Maxwell. The fact that people are believing this evil woman, it's disgusting. And I'll be honest, I've said it once, I'll say it again. It does not matter if you're a politician on either side. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if you're a celebrity. I don't give a fuck if you're a rock star. I don't give a fuck if you're an athlete. I don't give a fuck if you are a Nobel Peace Prize winner. If your name is on that list and it is proven you were there, I don't care what my thoughts about you prior. I think you deserve the maximum fucking sentence because you are a sick individual that has caused harm to children. Full stop.
Let's talk Epstein. But I guarantee you won't get a single MAGA person to comment down below like my other videos because they're just going to scroll by because they don't want to know the truth and this doesn't meet their narrative. Well, they just released the tapes today of Ghislaine Maxwell being interviewed by Donald Trump's basically right-hand man in the legal side, Todd Blanche, who is Trump's deputy attorney general. Now, typically, a deputy attorney general does not go out and conduct these interviews, and they certainly don't release them because if they want to use them to prosecute other people, they can't do that if they've released them to the public. Yet, conveniently, Ghislaine Maxwell says in the interview that Trump is a good guy, and that she doesn't remember him being anything other than a gentleman, and that, oh, there also is no magic list. Conveniently, she says everything Donald Trump needs people to hear. And then she gets moved to a minimum security prison, something that doesn't happen to children pedophiles. Yet she was moved to a minimum security prison after conveniently saying exactly what Donald Trump needed his base to hear. I'm not falling for it. This is a smokescreen. I want to see the rest of the files. This tape obviously she was coaxed into saying this. My opinion. Anyway, I think this is absolutely absurd. Leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think. Share this video with a friend. I want to know what everyone's opinion. See if we can get this to the MAGA side. Go ahead and comment #MAGA at the bottom because I want to know what their opinion is and if they believe this or not. And as always, please go to my website, kylegauk.com. You can sign up to donate there. You can sign up to volunteer there. And you can sign up for our free weekly newsletter. And as always, you made it this far. Thank you. I love you. And we'll definitely talk soon.
Georgia Republican Mike Collins was caught on a hot mic talking to a constituent about Trump, the Epstein files, and how Trump is in fact in the Epstein files.
I want to get to ask my question, which was, party unity, the Epstein files. I mean, do you think Trump's in there?
Yeah, I'm sure he's in there. Because he's the one that was telling the FBI about it. He's the one that kicked the guy out of Mar-a-Lago and then called the FBI. Yeah, he's in there.
So, I mean, what's going to happen? Are you going to vote to release him or vote to keep him?
Oh, we need to release him.
You want to vote to release him?
Man, I have no problem releasing him. But, you've got to go through the...
I'm just saying. We all know, the general public knows, we can postulate that Trump is in the Epstein files based on a slew of things. The fact that he said it was a hoax, the fact that he said the Democrats made it up, the fact that they said it existed, but then it doesn't exist, the fact that they're doing everything else in the country to distract us from the fact that Trump is in the Epstein files. I mean, this is just a nice little icing on the cake. No, this is not icing on the cake. This is like a nice extra filler and another layer of the cake. The icing on the cake would be the files to be released and the president to be prosecuted for heinous crimes like SVU. But Like I always say, another day in Trump's America.
So I see that Donald Trump, well, Kash Patel, but let's just go with Donald Trump, has ordered an investigation into John Bolton now because he doesn't like what John Bolton has been saying about him publicly. So, you know, Donald has to do what Donald does best. That is to distract from other things. So he's using this excuse now to deflect yet again and distract from the Epstein files because the heat's coming down today. It was supposed, the deadline is today for the DOJ to hand over the Epstein files. And I'm thinking that this is a way for them to just say, oh, we didn't have time. We were too busy investigating the Bolton case now. And we will have to reschedule and get the records to you at a later date. This is the game. They do this every friggin' time. There's not a chance in hell that John Bolton has anything. They're using this as a distraction because Donald's in major panic mode over the Epstein files, and he's going to do everything that he can to keep them under wraps. You know, like first off, he's throwing the National Guard and the Marines on the streets in California, now DC, and he's threatening other cities. He's oh, sorry guys, I'm trying not to focus too much on this hair, but you know, I'm losing my train of thought here. Oh yeah, he had that meeting with Putin, treated Putin like he was his best buddy. Then he goes and has a meeting with Zelensky 2 days later, and then races out of the meeting to speak with Putin. What the actual frig is going on there? Anyway, I don't think Donald has got much left in his arsenal to try to keep the files secret. It's going to come out. It's coming out, Donald. Just fucking release them because you have to get them out there. People know your tactics. It's all deflection. It's all distraction. He doesn't want everybody to know what a pedo he is. And yeah, he's just doing everything that he can. And then blames it on Patel. Oh, I have nothing to do with this. I didn't want anything to do with this. I'm just letting them deal with it. Bullshit. He's full of it. As usual, he's full of it. He's the one that orchestrated this whole I'm going to call it an invasion of John Bolton's home. He orchestrated this, but he's going to put all the blame on the DOJ, and the FBI, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi. Throw them under the bus when it's all him doing it. This man is never going to want to give up these. Well, he's never going to give up the files. We know that. At least not willingly. I think it's going to have to be ripped out of his hands, but it is what it is. Anyway, it's my rant for the day for now. Catch you on the flip side.
Do people actually think that releasing the so-called Epstein files is going to change anything? Like, you're telling me there's a society of elites who have been getting away with child trafficking for decades, and that some out-of-context words in a file is going to bring any of those people to justice? Like, come on. These people are all powerful enough and rich enough to have gotten away with all of this for years. And you think that there's going to be something in files from a dead guy that is going to hold up in court enough for anybody to be brought to justice? Like, I don't understand why people are so obsessed with this happening, with this list or files getting released, when it's not going to change anything. We're going to live in the same world with people, or they're probably still going to be doing these horrible things and getting away with it still. And we're choosing to focus so heavily on this list that probably won't bring up enough evidence to incriminate anybody. And meanwhile, it's distracting us from real issues that are going to affect the future of the entire world, like the centralization of wealth within a very few amount of people that's getting even smaller, and how AI is going to replace the entire workforce. Like, in that's going to happen within our lifetime. AI is going to get to the point where humans might not be needed to do tasks anymore. And at that point, how is anybody, like, what happens to the economy? Because if everyone gets laid off in favor of AI, how are people making money? How are people buying the things that the AI is creating, or services or whatever, besides the people who already have this high concentration of wealth and own the AI? Like, we have legitimate things that in the next 10 to 20 years could cause an entire collapse of society. And people are choosing to focus on something that they don't even know what it is. Like, we think that there is this magical file that's going to bring a bunch of people to justice. We don't even know what's in there. And that's the top of everyone's mind. Not how private equity companies are going and buying up a bunch of companies, making them horrible, taking out millions of dollars of loans in those companies' names so they're not liable for it, and then the company going bankrupt. People aren't worried about that. But no, we want to see some names on a list just so we can say, hi, I told you so, your favorite politician is a child pedophile. As far as I'm concerned, all those people suck. Like, we already know they suck. We already know they're horrible people. Like, they're going to die in the next 20 years. And you know who's going to be alive? We are. And we're going to have a horrible, shitty society to live in because people chose to focus on bringing down these old, rich people in a way that's not bringing them down at all. And instead, they sacrificed their future because they were more worried about that and getting to say that they were right. And they didn't really want to think about the actual hard truth of the future that we're going towards. Like, I just don't get it.
Trump is in the Epstein files. We're not stupid. We know it. They've already confirmed it even. And so whatever he's doing in the Epstein files, we know what he's in there for. My issue also is the fact that it keeps referring to this thing like it's this Epstein files, when in actuality these are files and records that implicate people in child abuse. That should be how it's framed. Implicating people in raping kids. Implicating people in participating in trafficking. That's how it should be framed. Not just like, oh, these are just some files. No! And then you see people like Andrew Schultz and some of these other fucking morons who are, oh, I'm this critical thinker. If you're such a critical fucking thinker, why did you not think that there's evidence that he could be in these files? And there's no evidence that he couldn't be in the files. So then you go and vote for, empower, and sit down with somebody who could be a child predator? The fact that he could be should have been enough for you to be like, can't do that. Nope. Morals, can't do it. Like, there's nothing that could have told you, like, there's no way he could be in the files. Like, for instance, if you said something like your younger cousin or something is in the fucking files, that wouldn't make sense, right? There would be no way that would be possible. So then it's like, okay, that's just fucking a hoax, as they've been saying. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to peep corruption. At all, actually. It shouldn't even take somebody who's that intelligent, honestly, to peep corruption. It's fairly easy to see. And all these people voted for this man 3 times. And it's going to come out that he was raping kids. And you could say, oh, you didn't know. That's not what I voted for, blah, 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 blah. But it's not just that the warning signs were there. It's not just that. It's that people were telling you and then showing you evidence and then showing you things that will actually convince you, and you decided to ignore it. You decided to ignore it. What kind of fucking person are you piece of shit? And then these people get platforms and they try to make it seem like they're playing devil's advocate, or that they're higher thinkers, or this and that, critical think, whatever the fuck it is that they're talking about. And it's like, no, because anybody who's a fucking critical thinker would have been able to think critically and said, hey, this is wrong. Oh, he's lied 45 fucking thousand times in the past 2 months. Maybe he's just a liar. Andrew Schultz has a fucking podcast. If the people who worked for you on your podcast came to work late, 2 hours work of late every single day, you would say what? That's somebody who comes to work late. You wouldn't be like, oh no, they don't come to work late. No, that's somebody who they're showing you. If somebody gets caught in a lie damn near every single day of their political career, they're probably a piece of shit. It doesn't take a critical thinker to come to that conclusion. And then, of course, it comes down to that's not what I voted for people. All those fucking people, you're all morons. Because whenever people talk about this not what I voted for, people start to say, okay, well, here's what he said he was going to do. It completely aligns with what he's doing. So what is it that you were voting for then? Because he said he's going to do this. You voted for him. He's currently doing this. That's a direct relation. If he says he's going to do something, then you vote for him, and then he does what the fuck he says, then you voted for what... This is not hard. I never feel sympathy for any Republicans who are affected badly by the Trump administration and the corruption. I only feel sorry for people who are not Republican. Yeah, I don't feel sorry for any right-wing person for anything that bad that goes on against them. Never. And don't even get me fucking started on the people who were like, why didn't Kamala run on this? She did, bitch.